الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده. أما بعد. So we have been going through the verb and its types, specifically looking at the defective verbs. So we have mu'tal, we have mahmuz, and muda'af. If there was a harf illa at fa position, we call it mithal, like wa'ada. At ayn position, middle one, we call it ajwaf. At the end, lam position, we call it naqis. Remember that as man, M-A-N, mithal, ajwaf, naqis. And then lafif is when you have two, either together or with the normal or the sound letter interposed between the two. So waliya, there's a farq, there's a gap there. And qawiya, they're together. Waw and ya together, waw and ya separate. Mahmuz, when there's hamza at fa position, ayn position, and lam position, so we call it mahmuzul fa, mahmuzul ayn, mahmuzul lam, but they haven't got any specific names. And muda'af, when you have other than hamza and harfi illa, huruf illa, some letters which are sahih letter, which are doubled. So okay, so massa, for example, so two scenes. And for harfi illa, you do ta'lilat. For mahmuz, you do takhfif to make it easy, light. And muda'af, you just do the gham, merge them together, and we've done a lot of rules. So one is that if you have two hamzas together, first one being active, second one sakina, you just change the second hamza by necessity into alif waw ya, depending on the haraka on the first one. So amana becomes amana, iman becomes iman. If the first hamza was not hamza, rather the second hamza is hamza, first one is other than hamza, then you have a choice. Either you keep that hamza as second hamza as hamza, or change it to alif or waw or ya, depending on the harakat on the first one. So you can say ya muru or ya muru, you minu or you minu. And then rule of idgham, two dals together, for example, in maddun, but you merge them together into one dal with a shad sign on top of that, which is this W, small w type sign called tashdid or shad. So maddun. And likewise, you do the same with the fail. So two dals, and whatever is under that tashdid sign, the square root you can call it, has two letters of the same kind. First is always sakina, second is always mutaharrik. First would be sakina. So madada to mutaharrika. Dal with fatha, dal with fatha. You merge them together, you have to make the first one into sakina. So you say madda. Okay, you can't say madada, madda. Sabbun and maddun, since we have a word already in existence in Arabic language, then sababun is another word, so they couldn't do the idgham there, so it becomes an exception. Likewise, madad as in help, sabab as in cause, they are exceptions. There are a few other exceptions. So rubai, for example, you do not do any idghams there. Jalbaba remains jalbaba. Likewise, the other rule was nasara yansuru bab, as an example, madada yamdudu. So you have two dals together in yamdudu. Madada, you would make it into madda, that's easy. But what about yamdudu? So you have to merge them together. This first dal would be sakina. So this dal sakina plus this meme sakina, how would you pronounce? You can't merge this into meme and dal both. So ya, meme sakina, dal sakina, two together. So you have to, what you do, you just take that dhamma of dal and give it to the meme before it. You just swap it around, so that the meme becomes mutaharrika and dal sakina, because dal has to be sakin as it is going in this transformation of idgham under the shad sign. So yamuddu, yamdudu becomes yamuddu, and you write with one dal again under the tashdid sign. Yeah. And then if you have waw and ya mutaharrik, waw mutaharrik, ya mutaharrik, ma qabal maftu, the one before it has a fatha, then you change those ya and waw both into alif. So qawala becomes qala, baya'a, ba'a. Same for all of those examples mentioned in the previous slide. Likewise, another rule, which is uwi, uyi, and iu. If any such combination you see, you just make it into yi, just to make it easy. So it becomes uwi becomes qi, buyi becomes bi, yarmiyu becomes yarmi, as opposed to yarmiyu. So, okay, so you change them all into E sound just to make it easy. And if waw has fatha and it is preceded by a kasra letter, you change that waw into ya, radiwa, radiya, because kasra goes better with ya. So ifjal, you change this waw into ya, ijal, mifzan, mizan. And reverse is true as well. Muisir, so dhamma goes with wow, so musir. Yuqid, yuqid, just to make it easy. And then abu, ayu, you just drop them and then keep one vowels. And if they were waw and ya together, you just drop the first one and make it easy as aw. What exactly happened is that waw mutaharrik ma qabl maftu, you change it with alif first, and then iltiqai sakinain means the combination of two sakin letter together, you drop the first one. So da'aw, ramaw, yardaw. Okay, this is what you do. And if there were two vowels with the dhamma before them, then you drop the first one. Saruvu. So there are too many vowels, two vowels, too many. So just they want you to drop one. So saru is enough. Radiyu, radu, yadu'uhu, yadu'u, yarmiyu, yarmu. So wow has to be kept. Why? Because wow is the way of knowing that this is masculine plural form. So yamdudu, as we did with yamdudu, you do the same with yaqulu, yaqulu. Yaqulu, what do you do? The wow is weak letter, ya is weak letter, and on that weak letter you have a haraka. Whereas the sahih letter before it, which is qaf in this case, and ayn in this case, hasn't got a sign on it, like a sakna. So you just interpose. So the weight of dhamma has been given to qaf. So yaqulu becomes yaqulu, ya'budu becomes ya'udu, yabi'u becomes yabi'u, yasihu becomes yasihu. Okay, same. And then waw mutaharrik ma qabl mafsud, easy, change it to alif like qawala, khawifa, khafa. But yakhwafu, yakhwafu, so it should be, if you swap over like yaqulu, yaqulu, yakhawfu it should be. But what they say, waw was originally mutaharrik. So consider that mutaharrik and give a fatha to the preceding letter, which is kha in this case. So yakhawfu, but that waw originally was mutaharrik, to keep it as mutaharrik in your sense and change it into alif, yakhafu, give him the higher status of yakhafu, alif. Yanalu. There was some exception, awira ya'waru, for example, you don't change because waw mutaharrik ma qabl maftu should be ara, but you don't do that. This is exception for this word. Ya'waru, to be blind, one-eyed. Ya'waru, again, you don't change it. You don't say ya'ar. Same way, sawiya yaswa, two together, and like, wa mutaharrik ma qabl maftu sa, you don't do that. But if ilal, you do not do changes there. You keep waw the way it is. Iswadda remains iswadda. Ibyadda remains as ibyadda. And some bab istif'al verbs like istaswaba, you do not change that into istasaba or anything. Aqwal is the superlative degree, you do not change that. The exaggeration forms, you do not change them. Likewise, adverbs, you do not change. Mif'al remains mif'al, mibya', miqwal, you don't change them. Another rule was, if on the scale of fa'ilun, the doer form, if after alif there's waw or ya, which is ayn kalima, this ayn is waw or ya, like qawil, you change that waw into hamza, qa'il. Likewise, ba'i', you change that ya into hamza, ba'i'. Okay. Then bab ifti'al, we saw that if there was a ifta'ala, ifta'ala. So if you apply this there, so what tends to happen, this fa gets changed into ta, because this ta of ifti'al, it overwhelms the weak letter. So waw is weak letter, so it changes waw into ta. Ittasala, it would become. Ittasala become ittasala. Okay. And likewise, as you have with fa'ilun, same with if'alun, irda'un. So okay, so waw after alif at the end, you just change that waw into hamza, irda'un rather than irda'un. Likewise, some asma, the nouns with alif at the end and waw or ya after that, you change that into hamza. Sama'un becomes sama'un, bina'yun becomes bina'un. Then with hamza, we have done the rule. If you apply those two different examples, you would see where there are two hamzas together, you have to change the second hamza into alif, waw, or ya. That's a must. If there are not two hamza, only one hamza, second hamza, the first one is other than hamza, then you have a choice. You can do or not do. That's up to you. So that's why it's called jaiz. So ya mulu, you can keep it as ya mulu, but u'mul, you can't leave it at u'mul. You have to say umul. Like ether, you have to change that second hamza into ya, ether, ether, idrib, ether, sorry, ether. And isma', so i'laf, so becomes ilaf by necessity, yeah. U'dub becomes udub. And likewise in bab if'al, so a'lafa becomes a'lafa. Two hamza, second one gets changed to alif because of fatha on the first one. Obviously, there's no change on this one. There's no two hamzas together, so you have a choice. Not a problem. And no sakin hamza here either. But that's all fine. The fa'ul similarly do not need to do any changes. I'tilaf, so i'tilaf, two hamzas. So you have to change this into ya. I'tilaf. Okay, i'tilaf. Talif amr likewise. Bab istif'al, there are no two hamzas, so you can just keep it as such. So then there were certain words which are used a lot. For example, amala, akhada, akala, amara. So what they're saying, especially with akhada, akala, and amara, these three, take these into consideration. They have been used a lot. So the amr, the command form of this is umul. So umul becomes umul, which is fine. But for command form, imperative form of akhada would be ya'khudhu ukhudh. So it should be ukhudh like this. And you have to change that into ukhudh. But they say, no, don't do any of that. Drop that hamza because it is used a lot. So drop that hamza. When you have dropped that hamza, you do not need that hamzatul wasl at the beginning, which is used for imperative form. So you do not need any of that. They say just leave it as khudh. Khudh means to take as a command. So just because it's used so often, they made it into khudh. Likewise for mur and kul, they say akala ya'kulu, kul, they say no, say kul. Amara ya'muru, ukmur, no, they say mur only. So khudh, khuda, khudu, khudi, khuda, khudana. This would be the girdan of that, rather than khudh, khuda. No, you don't need to do a hamza before that. You drop those. Likewise for kul, kula, kulu, kuli, kula, kulna, mur, mura, muru, muri, mura, murna. So, but the only exception between these three would be difference would be that for mur, although you say it mur, muru sibyanakum, but if you combine it with the previous word or extra fa or wow or something else, then you bring that hamza back. So you say wa mur. Okay. Not with kul and khudh. Then bab ifti'al. So you remember in bab ifti'al what happens? This ta tries to overwhelm the weak letters. So it tries to do the same with akhada. So what happened? Bab ifti'al, akhada. So ifta'ala, ittakhada. So what this ta does, rather than letting it go into ya form, itakhada, it says, no, this hamza is weak and I need to overwhelm to change it into ta. It becomes ittakhada, and with the shad you put together as a idgham. So ittakhada. So, okay, ittakhada is actually from akhada, mahamuzul fa. So you don't say, you just say ittakhada yattakhidu ittikhaz. Okay, yattakhidu, no, yattakhidu. Yattakhidu becomes yattakhidu. You change that hamza into ta because of bab ifti'al. Okay, you go straight into yattakhidu, not ittakhidu. Yattakhidu, no, those hamza, they just say you have to drop that and change it into ta. Yattakhidu. Okay. Sa'ala, there were some exceptions with the sa'ala as well. So you could say yes, alu, fataha yaftahu. But you can also say yasalu. You drop that hamza completely, giving the fatha of hamza to sin. So yasalu becomes yasalu. You can use both ways, and it's fine. The command or the imperative from this would be is'al with this, and they both in use. So yasalu command would be sal only. Sal bani Israel. So they're both okay. You can say is'al or sal, both are fine. So we did some of the exercise. Let's do that. What more? See what more? So amara ya'muru. Normally you would say mur, command. Mura, muru, muri. But here, when you have a wow before it, so this is Quranic ayah, wa'mur ahlaka. Command your family bis salah of prayer. So ahlaka is maf'ul, that's why it's mansoob. Ya Yahya, O Yahya, khudhil kitaba bi quwwah. Hold the book with strength. Khudh, yeah, khudh. Zal was sakina, as Amr is sakin at the end. But when you combine with the lam, that is another sakin letter. So as-sakin is a hurrika bil kasr. You just give kasra to the first one to combine them together. Khudhil kitaba bi quwwah, again in the Quran. Khudhil afwa. Take the forgiveness. Wa'mur bil urf, and command of urf, or the good things, ma'ruf, good deeds. Wa'arid anil jahilin, and stay away from the ignoramuses. Kulu, say kulu, not ukulu. You do not need hamza there for command. This is command. Kulu washrabu, plural form. Wala tusrifu. Eat and drink, and do not be wasteful. Wakula, and you too eat. See, even with wow, you do not need hamza back. Wakula, you don't say wakula. Wakula. Unlike amara, where you have to bring that hamza back. Here you don't. Wakula minha, and you both, Adam and Eve, alayhi salam, eat, you too, eat from it, from Jannah, ragadan, without any limitation, unrestricted, haythu shi'tuma, wherever you both want, whichever part you want to go to. Wattakhidhu, again, amr, ittikhad, wattakhidhu, take all of you, min maqami Ibrahim, from the place of Ibrahim alayhi salam, which is the station of Ibrahim alayhi salam, by the door of Kaaba. Musalla, prayer place. Take that as a prayer place. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, or you who believe, la tattakhidhu, do not take aduwwi, my enemy, wa aduwwakum, and your enemy, as awliya, as a friend. Fas'alu ahla dhikri in kuntum la ta'lamun, ask the people of knowledge if you do not know. Fas'alu, see, fas'alu. Is'al, yeah, you can do, that's a normal way. But ثم لتسألن يومئذ عن النعيم, and on the day of judgment you will be questioned about the ni'mah on that day. So on that day you will be most definitely questioned about the favors, the blessing that Allah has given you. Okay. وَيُؤْثِرُونَ أَكْثَرَ يُؤْثِرُ, to prefer. وَيُؤْثِرُونَ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ, and they prefer others over themselves. وَلَوْ كَانَ بِهِمْ خَصَاصَةٌ, even if they are having khasasa. Khasasa means even in restrictions, in restraints, they've got limitation with regards to what they can offer to poor people, but they will still give that food to poor people rather than keeping for themselves. That's the generosity they have. Inna khayra man ista'jarta al-qawiyyul amin. Indeed, the best of the one that you can hire to work for you is al-qawi, the strong one, al-amin, the trustworthy one. All from Quranic ayah. أأنتم أنشأتم شجرتها أم نحن المنشئون? Are you the one, أنشأتم, who caused the tree to the shajara, its trees, the trees of the garden? Are you the one who caused the trees to grow? Do you grow the trees? Do you let them grow? Am nahnul munshi'un, are we the one who let it grow? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking in Surah Waqia. The answer is no, Allah, you create them, you let them grow. وَإِذَا بَلَغَ الْأَطْفَالُ مِنْكُمُ الْحُلُمَ, when the atfal, the children, reach from among you the age of maturity, hulum, فَلْيَسْتَأْذِنُوا, let them seek permission, كَمَا اسْتَأْذَنَ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ, as they used to as the people before them used to ask for permission. Like small children, when they were very small, they were allowed to walk in to your room, your bedroom. But when they are grown up, like pubertal, they must seek your permission before entering the rooms. قال, one of the wives said to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Man anba'aka hada?" Who informed you about this? قال, so Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Nabba'ani al-alim al-khabir." The most knowledgeable and most aware informed me. Nabba'ani. He informed me of this. Okay, some analysis from the book. So يتخذ أحمد زيدا صديقا. اتخاذ means to take. So يتخذ. Ahmad is fa'il of يتخذ. So Ahmad took Zayd as his friend. So Zaydan is maf'ul and Sadiqan is maf'ul as well. So what they're saying, so you look at those and identify what is what. So this one is the analysis from the sarf point of view. You look at the letters, what happened to them. So يتخذ is فعل مضارع معروف متعدي إلى مفعولين. So what happens with اتخاذ? There are certain مفعول, there are certain verbs, فعل أفعال, that take more than one object. So اتخاذ is actually one of those. It would take two objects. متعدي إلى مفعولين. It is transitive to two مفعول. It would take two maf'ul to import the clear meaning. So it says, because who did you take? Zayd. As what? As your friend. So you've got two maf'uls there, yeah? Zaydan Sadiqan. Okay, so this is how it would be. واحد مذكر غائب, we know. ثلاثي مزيد, yeah, because this is باب افتعال. And mahmuz al-fa, yeah, it was actually أخذ, is brought into this one, and يتخذ becomes يتخذ, yeah, merge the hamza gets changed into ta, and ta is now merged together. Ahmad is alam واحد مذكر غير منصرف, that is why it doesn't have tanween on it. Mushtaq has been derived from hamd, hamida yahmadu. Ismu tafdeel, this is a superlative form, exaggerated form, min hamida. ثلاثي مجرد, from ثلاثي حمد is ثلاثي مجرد. That's where it's derived from. زيدا, اسم العلم, واحد مذكر منصرف. جامد, جامد is the one that hasn't been derived from any other word. So it's not derived from a verb. It is just a noun on its own. ثلاثي مجرد. صديقا اسم نكر, yeah, واحد مذكر منصرف. That's why both of those have tanween. مشتق, it is derived from صدق يصدق, صدوق as well, صدوق to be friend. اسم الصفة, صديق فعيل scale, صدوق to be friend, and ثلاثي مجرد. And from the Nahwi point of view, this is how you would do. So that was the morphological way, where you look at the letter and identify all the words separately. Here you look at their connection with the next one. So you talk about their i'rab, whether they're مرفوع منصوب مجرور, those sort of things. يتخذ الفعل المضارع المتعدي المعرب المرفوع. This is مرفوع. أحمد is فاعل and it is مرفوع. زيدا is مفعول أول منصوب. صديقا مفعول ثاني منصوب. Together it becomes فعل with its فاعل أحمد, and two مفعوls become جملة فعلية خبرية, informing us about something. Okay, translate into Arabic. Hamid, are you in a habit of having cigarettes? Ya Hamid, هل تألف السيجارة? So تألف or تألف, up to you, because first is ta and second one is hamza. You have a choice here. Are you in habit of having cigarettes? I was in habit, but I left it since the doctor prevented me. كنت آلفها. I used to. I was in a habit. لكن, but تركتها. I left it. منذ منعني الدكتور. Since الدكتور منعني. منع, fail, to stop, prevent. Ni, me. With fail, when you have a pronoun like this is متكلم, me, I. This is going to be a maf'ul. So he prevented me. Who? الدكتور, which is coming after that, which is a fa'il of mana. You have excelled. Ahsanta. You did good. Well done. Cigarettes are harmful for the lungs and eyes. السيجارة تضر الرئة والعين. Literal meaning is, I mean, you could do it differently. So here it means the cigarette, it harms the lung and eyes. So that's the true translation of the Arabic that I have done. So you could actually do it differently, which would be a more appropriate. You should say السيجارة مضرة. Okay, cigarette is مضرة, is harmful. مضرة الرئة والعين is مضرة, or مضرة للرئة والعين, for the lungs and the eyes. So that would be more appropriate translation. But I mean, you can sometimes you do the translation by the context, how you want to say it. So it's not literal translation, but it's still fine. Because cigarettes are harmful. This is jumla in English. This is jumla ismiya. And تضر الرئة والعين, this is on its own is jumla fi'liya, which becomes the khabar of as-sijara. So you're making it jumla ismiya slightly in a different way, but still jumla ismiya, but by using a fail. Here you don't have, in English, you don't have any fail there. So you could just make it slightly different to fit that context, but it's still fine. You can do it this way, with the words to the effect. Yes, sir. Therefore, I do not smoke cigarettes anymore. Naam, ya Sayyidi. Yes, my sir. لهذا, for this, لا أشرب السيجارة. I do not drink. Cigarette means I do not smoke. So they use to smoke shariba as well for that. And did you hire this house? Yes, I hired this house. هل استأجرت هذه الديار? هذه الدار, sorry, دار is house, it's plural. That's why هذه. نعم, yes, نعم. استأجرت هذه الدار. I did. Did you employ this person? No, we did not employ him. هل استأجرت هذا الرجل? Did you appoint him? لا, ما استأجرته. So it should be, so not we, it should be I. So no, I did not employ him. Okay. Otherwise, لا ما استأجرناه, if you wanted to make it plural. Okay. Oh, my sister, command your daughter to read her book in front of me. يا أختي مري بنتك أن تقرأ كتابها أمامي, and makes مضارع into nasab state, منصوب form. Yeah, تقرأ كتابها, her book, أمامي, in front of me. Fatima, take the book and read it in front of your maternal uncle. Fatima, خذي. No أخذ, no hamzatul wasl there, because you drop that exceptions with خذ, كل, and more. خذي الكتابة, read the book. وقرئي, and read أمام خالك, in front of your mamu. Khal is mamu, khala is khala. Okay, Arabic goes between brother and sister. Am is paternal uncle, chacha, and ammati or amma, ain, and ta at the end is your pupi. Okay, paternal aunt, which is sister of your father. So brother and sister go together in Arabic. Not the, so you would say for the wife, you would say zawjatu khali. Okay, or zawju khalati, like this. Oh boys, take your books and read them. Ya awlad, khudhu kutubakum, take your books, waqra'uha, and read it. Kutub plural, that's why ha غير عقل. Yes, sir, we will take our books now. نعم يا سيدنا. نأخذ كتبنا الآن. We take our books now. O noble woman, command your sons and daughters to perform salah. يا سيدة, مري أولادك وبناتك بالصلاة. Yes, brother, I will certainly command them to perform salah. نعم يا أخي, لآمرنهم, I would definitely command them بالصلاة. Ask this boy, what is your name and where do you live? Salu, or your plural form, or sal, you can say sal. Sal هذا الولد. For single, sal هذا الولد. Ask this boy. Or for plural, salu, ask this brother. Masmuk, what's your name? وأين تسكن, where do you live? My brothers My name is Salim or Salim and I live in Lahore. إخواني اسمي سليم وأسكن في لاهور. Oh girl, take the basket of fruit and eat whatever you like from it. يا بنت خذي تلك السلة وكلي, eat منها. See, no hamza for خذي and كلي because they use a lot. That's why they drop the hamza. منها ما تحبين, whatever you like. Oh, my uncle, I thank you. أشكرك يا عمي. عم, yeah, عم means chacha. Did these people make this house into a masjid? هل اتخذوا هذا البيت مسجدا? Did these people, did they? Okay. هذا البيت is house مسجدا? Yes, they made this house into a masjid. نعم, هم اتخذوا هذا البيت مسجدا. You make your house into a madrasa. Command. اتخذوا, you all make your house بيتكم مدرسة. Good, we will make our house into a madrasa. طيب. سنتخذ بيتنا مسجدا. And inshallah we leave that there. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Faisal.